Hello, I'm Camelia. This is KiniNews. The Albukhary Foundation's tax exemption status saga continued today with several Bersatu Youth leaders lodging a police report against DAP chairperson Guan Eng and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Bersatu Youth has filed a police report against DAP chairperson Guan Eng and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim over the issue of Albukhary Foundation's tax-exempt status. This is over their denial that Lim, as then Finance Minister, was responsible for revoking the Albukhary Foundation's tax-exempt status. Bersatu Youth Chief Wan Fayhsal Wan Ahmad Kamal claimed that Anwar had misled the Dewan Rakyat on the issue.
Sebenarnya fakta yang tidak dijawab secara terus terang oleh Yang Amat Perdana Menteri ialah Yayasan Albukhary dan syarikat-syarikat di bawahnya telah mendapat pengecualian cukai semasa pemerintahan Barisan Nasional bagi tahun 2016 sehingga 2018. Yang Amat Perdana Menteri juga tidak berterus terang dalam jawapannya dalam Parlimen bahawa Lembaga Hasil Dalam Negeri telah menolak pengecualian cukai tersebut dan ia berlaku semasa pemerintahan Pakatan Harapan dan sewaktu Saudara Guan Eng menjadi Menteri Kewangan.
Wan Fayhsal added that Anwar's explanation is a lie as Section 44(6)(b) of the Income Tax Act states that any decision of the IRB Director General can be appealed by the Finance Minister. He also claimed that Lim could have invoked Section 127(3) of the same Act, which grants the Finance Minister the power to exempt anyone from the provisions of the Act. With this, he called on the police to investigate both Lim and Anwar for falsifying information, fabricating false evidence, criminal conspiracy, and defamation. Previously, Lim had filed a report against former Premier Muhyiddin Yassin for allegedly mounting a racially charged election campaign based on alleged slander linked to the Albukhary Foundation's tax-exempt status. This came after the Perikatan National chairperson accused Lim of revoking Albukhary Foundation's tax exemption status when the latter was finance minister. The ex-girlfriend of former Goldman Sachs banker Tim Leisner has reportedly returned $10 million of 1MDB-linked cash and assets back to the government. Rohana Rozan has returned the $10 million 1MDB-linked cash and assets to the MACC. This is according to a report in Utusan Malaysia Today, which quoted a source familiar with the case. According to the source, Rohana, a former girlfriend of former Goldman Sachs banker Tim Leisner, surrendered the cash and assets to the government last year. This was after the MACC wrapped up investigations into the case. The source told Utusan that Rohana returned all the money and assets to the MACC, which then handed it to the government. However, the source could not provide a detailed breakdown of the funds and assets returned, as well as the procedure involved. The report came following de facto Law Minister Azalina Othman Said's written parliamentary reply yesterday that the Attorney General's chambers has no knowledge of whether Rohana has returned the $10 million in assets she gained from Leisner. She said this in response to a question from Kapong MP Lim Lip Eng about whether Rohana had returned the funds and how much of 1MDB-linked assets have been returned to the government. Last February, Leisner, a former Goldman Sachs banker involved with the 1MDB saga, told a U.S. court that he had affairs with 3 prominent Malaysian women, including Rohana. Leisner said he spent $10 million on a house in London for Rohana after she got upset that he was ending their 10-year relationship. He claimed that Rohana had threatened to expose his involvement in the 1MDB affair. Following this, it was reported that the MACC was investigating Rohana under the Anti-Money Laundering and Anti-Terrorism Financing Prevention Act 2001 and that Rohana's London property and other assets were frozen. According to the reports, Rohana had agreed to return the $10 million in assets, but there was no official confirmation from the MACC. Tuan Ibrahim has described Pajwang as a small party and said that it was better for them to dissolve. He said this while responding to a question on why Perikatan Nasional rejected Pajwang's application to join the coalition.
Perikatan Nasional rejected Pajwang's application to join the coalition as it did not want to complicate seat allocations between component parties for the upcoming 6 state elections. This is according to past Deputy President Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man. Tuan Ibrahim was quoted by Free Malaysia Today as saying that elections are close and they had discussed how accepting Pajwang would complicate the ongoing negotiations for seats. He said Pajwang was a small party and would not help PN in its ambitions to unite the Ummah. He was quoted as saying that they are not a major party like UMNO and Bersatu, and even though they contest in elections, it loses almost every contest, even losing their deposits. Tuan Ibrahim did not rule out the possibility that Pajwang only sought to join PN to improve its chances of retaining state seats it held in Kedah and Selangor. He said they did not stand a chance if they go alone, and this could be the reason they are looking for partners. However, he said it would be better if they dissolve and for their members to join PAS or Bersatu instead. Earlier this week, PN's Supreme Council had decided to reject Pajwang's application to join the coalition. However, no reason was given for why the coalition decided to snub Pajwang.
Amiruddin Shari has highlighted the importance of winning the Selangor state polls. He said Selangor couldn't afford to fail as it could have an effect on the federal government.
The upcoming Selangor state election will be a litmus test for the federal government. This is according to Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Shari. In an interview with the Straits Times, Amiruddin said the polls would have far-reaching ramifications. He said that the election in Malaysia's richest state was too important to fail for the PKR-led coalition, which has governed the state since 2008. He added that Selangor can't afford to fail, as if they do, there will be a trickle-down effect on the federal government. Amiruddin noted that it would be the first time that the Pakatan Harapan coalition and longtime foe BN are working together, and said that they would have to learn from previous mistakes, including from the failure of the Perikatan Nasional model, which is based on distrust. He said the Selangor campaign would focus on the need for a stable government and give the state a chance to be politically aligned with the Harapan BN federal government. Amiruddin also highlighted how Selangor had recently accepted BN representatives in the state assembly as government backbenchers. Amiruddin added that he had confidence that the coalition led by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim was strong enough to withstand the green wave.
Wee Ka Seong has urged authorities to investigate 2 phone calls he received in connection with the egg saga involving controversial businessperson Deepak Jaikishan and egg importer JNE Advanced Tech Sendirian Berhad.
MCA President Wee Ka Seong has lodged a police report and called on authorities to investigate 2 phone calls he had received over the egg import issue. The phone calls were in relation to the matter involving businessperson Deepak Jaikishan and egg importer JNE Advanced Tech Sendirian Berhad. Wee said he had previously challenged Deepak to lodge a police report after the latter denied calling him twice on the issue and gave Deepak 3 days to do it. Wee added that he had lodged the police report as promised since Deepak failed to do so. Previously, Wee had claimed in the Dewan Rakyat that Deepak name-dropped the Prime Minister's office in phone calls to him on the egg import issue. Deepak denied making the calls, but Wee later revealed screenshots of the caller ID from checks on the Truecaller phone application to substantiate his claim. At the time, Wee also challenged Deepak to lodge a police report if someone had impersonated the businessperson. Subsequently, egg importer JNE Advanced Tech Sendirian Berhad admitted they called Wee and requested the Ayer Hitam MP to retract his statements on the import of eggs from India. The issue was first brought up on February 22nd when Wee told the Dewan Rakyat that the government should resolve problems faced by local egg producers and not import eggs from India, which he said were more expensive and smaller. JNE is the only company the government allowed to import eggs from India during a local supply shortage.
The date for Zahid Hamidi's defamation suit against Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has been set. The case will come up for a full hearing for 4 days, beginning November 6.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court has set 4 days from November 6 to hear UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi's defamation suit against former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Mahathir's lawyer confirmed with Malaysia Kini that the trial dates were set from November 6 to November 9th during case management in Kuala Lumpur this morning. Zahid had filed a civil suit against then Pajwang chairperson Mahathir in April last year. This was over Mahathir's claims that Zahid had met him to try and get on his good side, as Zahid anticipated he would be facing criminal charges. This reportedly occurred before Mahathir took office in 2018, when he said it was clear he would become Prime Minister. Mahathir had allegedly made the remarks during a press conference in Putrajaya on February 23rd last year. Zahid, in his statement of claim, denied ever meeting Mahathir to discuss his court cases or any action by enforcement agencies prior to Mahathir becoming Prime Minister. He claimed that Mahathir's remarks were defamatory and malicious and is seeking aggravated and exemplary damages. On March 2nd last year, Mahathir denied defaming Zahid and said he would contest the suit.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.